Hey folks, this is Kalani. One of the most exciting features or updates in the Shadowlands expansion is the changes to leveling. Perhaps the largest thing that will be different next expansion is the max level is being reduced significantly and everything is being squished down along with it. Instead of playing from 1 to 20, we'll be playing from 1 to 60 instead. Yep, we're right back where we started with levels. The max level in Shadowlands will be 60, just like it was way back in the days when the World of Warcraft first opened its doors. Now 60 is going to be max level, which means you're going to start lower than that no matter what level you are right now. Shadowlands itself goes from 50 to 60, so the entire game that we have access to in BFA right now on live servers will get us up to 50 and ready for our adventures in the afterlife. So let's break down the various parts that make up this level squish, how it will affect different players, mounts, heirlooms, all that jazz. Before we hop in case you haven't heard, we have started to stream over on twitch.tv/KalaniTV and we're having a blast in the alpha. You should pop by and say hi sometime. Okay, first things first, the level bracket. The entire leveling process will be from 1 to 60, 1 to 10 will be your starter zones and introduction experiences, so no matter who you are or what you play, you'll start your real adventure at level 10. This means the new zones for Exile's Reach that anyone can play and new players are forced into. If you haven't seen this, we did just preview the entire thing in a quick video. You should be able to find that link in the comments below or a card link thing at the top right of your screen right now. If you click that, you can see the Exile's Reach starting area video. New players are forced into that, you can't opt out, but anyone who has already leveled up once before can choose to go through Exile's Reach, or go through the normal starting racial areas that we have access to today. When you get to level 10, that's where the fun really starts. At this point, you will progress through an expansion to get to level 50, so one expansion should get you all ready and caught up to the Shadowlands, and then at level 50, you can follow everyone else into the afterlife and work through the new zones there. If you're a new player and you are forced to go through Exile's Reach, you'll actually get shoehorned into the Battle for Azeroth questing experience. Again, you can't opt out of that if you're a new player, from what I understand, so that's going to be your only choice, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. BFA is the most up-to-date mechanically and visually. It's way more impressive than the Burning Crusade or Wrath of the Lich King, for example, and it's also the most recent storyline. So you can get caught up with, a little bit of what was happening, why the Horde and Alliance were at war again, and maybe a touch of how it was resolved. That's going to be very important when you consider that the storyline in Shadowlands follows on directly from BFA. We're still following Sylvanas and all that jazz, and a lot of loose ends will be tied up in the new expansion. If you don't learn about those loose ends first, it's not going to make much sense when they're resolved, so BFA being the only choice for new players really does make a good amount of sense. If you aren't a new player, you can talk to Chromie to pick literally any expansion you want. You can go from 10 to 50 in Outlands or Northrend or the Catazones or Warlords of Draenor, Mists of Pandaria, Legion, you get the idea. It's your choice, which is pretty awesome in my opinion. You can do an alt in an expansion that makes sense, so DKs in Wrath of the Lich King, Monks in Mists of Pandaria, or, just pick the fastest one, whatever you want to do. You can also pick and choose as you level up. You're not locked into any one choice. So if you get 5 levels into the Burning Crusade and you decide this just isn't for you, you can head on over to Northrend or anywhere else to continue leveling. Current players who are level 120 will start at level 50 in the next expansion, all ready for the Shadowlands adventure right from the get-go. If you are between level 1 and 120, you'll get squished at an appropriate rate. We're not too sure on the specifics right now because we can't copy any of our characters over to test directly, but what we can do is look at each expansion's raid gear and look at the required level to wear it. This might sound a bit weird, but bear with me. For example, vanilla gear used to require level 60 to equip, and now on the Shadowlands Alpha, it requires level 25 to equip. It would make sense that if you are level 60 decked out in full vanilla raid gear, for whatever reason, that you still need to be able to wear it, right? Getting squished to a different level than what the gear actually needs seems a bit silly, so if you are level 60 right now on live, you might in fact get squished down to level 25. Now if we continue this train of thought, we can do the same with the other expansions. The Burning Crusade gear needs level 70 on live, and that's knocked down to level 27 in the alpha. For Wrath of the Lich King, it used to be level 80, and now it's level 30. Cataclysm went from level 85 to level 32, Mr. Pandaria was level 90 and that's now down to level 35, Warlords of Draenor was level 100 and now it's level 40, Legion was 110 and it's now level 45, and as you might expect, BFA is currently 120 and on the alpha it's set at level 50, and that's exactly what you'll get squished down to. I think all of these levels will align to create a squish curve, and levels in between these markers will just fall in between the milestones, so to speak. It's not a perfect science, but that's the best we can do right now without being able to directly copy over any characters. So if you are curious where your alts will start, this should give you a pretty good idea. The pace of leveling so far in Shadowlands seems to be quite fast. We have 4 leveling zones to go through, and the first time we'll be going through them in a specific order. We start with Bastion, and that's the only zone we have to test right now, so it kind of makes sense. Then we go into Maldraxxus, then Ardenweald, and finish off in Revendreth, from what I remember. When you level for your second time in Shadowlands, you can pick where you want to go, so they're definitely continuing the whole choice thing in the expansion as well. We can pick different expansions for leveling up our alts, and then we can also pick our zones for leveling alts from 50 to 60. Lots of choice to be had. Right now you can expect 2 to 3 levels per zone, it looks like, depending on how many side quests you do. There are a lot of side quests too, so you can zoom through the main story and hit all 4 zones early if you want, or ding level 60 probably before you finish the last zone by doing all of the side stuff that you can find. So that explains the general leveling pattern you can expect when all of this new stuff goes live. Hopefully they include all the new leveling options with the pre-patch, and I'm also hoping that the pre-patch comes quite a bit earlier than the actual expansion. Just 2 to 3 weeks of pre-patch seems like a bit of a waste, really. With the entire leveling overhaul, a month or more of pre-patch could be just what players need to get reinvigorated and ready for a new adventure, and it's not like we won't have anything to do, unless of course you're leveling all of your alts up right now with a 100% bonus experience boost. It is worth mentioning that leveling in Shadowlands might be significantly faster, even though we have that 100% boost that we currently do. I know some players have managed to level from 1 to 50 on the alpha in 13 hours, I think it was. That's an insane leveling speed, and that's without any bonus experience or heirlooms. Imagine what they could do if they added heirlooms into the mix. That is of course assuming heirlooms will return in Shadowlands. We don't have that much of an idea about what's going on with heirlooms right now. They are still in the game as of right now on the alpha, but they don't carry over, so we can't use any of them right out of the gate. You can buy them from the heirloom vendor for the same price as before, but that vendor also carries the upgrade items that still say level 90, 100, 110 and 120. Those levels don't make sense anymore, so this clearly isn't updated. The heirlooms also showed 0-4 upgrades, and the item level of the heirlooms is all wrong. At level 50, the cloth pieces are only item level 34 compared to my actual level 50 gear, which is item level 75. So honestly, we just don't know enough about anything meaningful about heirlooms in Shadowlands just yet. But if leveling from 1 to 50 without any heirlooms remains similar to 1 to 120 with heirlooms, I could see them just doing away with heirlooms entirely going into this expansion, or reducing the amount of bonus experience they grant. We'll just have to wait and see. But I really don't think they would make leveling much faster than what it is already. Now you may be wondering about some of the special classes and races out there. Allied races don't have a starting zone, for example, so what's going on there? Well, allied races will just start at level 10. You can pick whatever expansion you want to level through and have at it. Easy as that. Death Knights are a little bit different. If you pick a Death Knight from one of the old classes that went through the Wrath of the Lich King starter experience, you will still be locked into that. You'll start at level 8 though, so at least that's something. You should be quite a bit past level 10 by the time you're done with the intro storyline. If you pick an allied race Death Knight, you start at level 10 like all of the other allied races. Demon Hunters are a bit different too. They have their own starting area, just like the old Death Knights, and that's still what you're going to go through. They will also start at level 8, so both Death Knights and Demon Hunters effectively lose their level skip right now. If you want a Demon Hunter at max level, and just at max level, it might be a good idea to level it before these changes go through. It might save you quite a lot of time in the long run. Another big change in this whole revamp is how and when you get access to your mounts and riding training. The very first mount you can get is now available at level 10, which is very fitting really. That's the level you should be after your starting areas are complete. The Exile's Reach zone even directs you to a stable to buy your first mount before heading out into the world. You can see the other training becomes available at much earlier levels as well. Your fast ground mount is available at just level 17, your first flying mount is at level 25, faster flying is level 27, and then the 10% flying is at level 30. You can get your fastest flying training at level 30. That's so strange to say, but on the flip side, is that even early enough? There are some expansions where flying was enabled at the very start, mainly Cataclysm, and you going into that expansion at level 10, you don't have any flying at all. Leveling through those zones without flying could actually be quite a bit of hassle, and sometimes completely impossible. Hopefully you would get to level 25 before you absolutely needed flying, but I remember the Deep Home Zone in particular for Cataclysm was one that did require flying to get around. Flying is also going to make every expansion easier in general, and with these changes where before you would always have flying going into every single expansion past level 60, now you won't have it for 15 out of your 40 levels that you'll be questing. I wonder how impactful that's going to be. The gold cost on these things is also kind of crazy for new players. I don't think anyone will have 5k by the time they're level 27. Hopefully they are just placeholder values for now though. Another problem that you might run into with flying is the Pathfinder achievements. Pathfinder was used to unlock flying in Warlords, Legion and BFA zones. If you don't have the Pathfinder achievement, you won't be able to fly in the zones for those expansions, even if you buy your flying training. I don't know if they will disable or get rid of Pathfinder at this point, but I kinda hope they do, especially the ones for Warlords and Legion. They're very outdated content at this point, and restricting it just doesn't make any sense. But if they don't, getting Pathfinder before all of these changes go live might be a good idea as well, and it's something to do. And that should pretty much cover everything you need to know about the level squish coming in Battle for Azeroth and how it's going to affect you. What do you think about level 60 being the max level again? Are you planning on leaving any alts to level up with these new changes, or are you just going to get them all out of the way before Shadowlands releases? Is there anything specific you'd like to see from the Shadowlands alpha? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to explore the alpha alongside us, you can join us live at twitch.tv/KalaniTV. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. You can see the names floating by on screen. If you want to join these other guys and gals, you can find a link in the description below. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.